childish sometimes.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 48 of the Omega Podcast. I am Wes.
And I'm Wendell. Whoa, I'm sexy.
Yep, you sure are. Welcome again. We've got some news, some spoiler-free thoughts on the new episode, The Doctor's Wife. We got some feedback, and actually we have our first 5 questions for Who for Series 6 with none other than Neil Gaiman. Exclusive interview!
Party!
All right, well, how if we get over to our news first? I think we just wanted to kind of share a story that came out earlier. You posted it on our Facebook group page, Wendell.
I did. Somebody linked it to me. It was about Stephen Moffat's thoughts on a fan who leaked out the first 2 episodes, the plot of that. And let's take a look.
Why is Stephen so upset?
Well, before this series of Doctor Who started, there was a launch event, and they invited along the press and some fans to see the first 2 episodes. Stephen Moffat got up, he's the boss of Doctor Who, and he said, please do not give away the plots of these episodes. Don't reveal who dies in the first episode. Don't give away the cliffhanger at episode 2. And the press obeyed, but the fans didn't. If you went online, you could find the entire plots of the first 2 episodes on there. Now, I went to a BAFTA TV event. It's the BAFTAs next Sunday. I met Stephen Moffat there and I asked him about these leaks and what he made of it. And as you'll hear, he was very, very disappointed.
It's heartbreaking in a way because you're trying to tell stories. And stories depend on surprise. Stories depend on shocking people. Stories are the moments that you didn't see coming. Those are what live in you and burn in you forever. If you are denied those, it's vandalism. Should I have some twit who came to a press launch write up a story in the worst, most ham-fisted English you can imagine and put it on the internet? I just hope that guy never watches my show again, because that's a horrific thing to do. It is exactly like that boring man in the pub who waits until you're nearly finished your joke and jumps in with the punchline and gets it slightly wrong. You hate that guy, you should hate those guys too. And can you imagine how much I hate them?
This guy was a fan of the show.
It's only fans who do this, or they call themselves fans. I wish they could go and be fans of something else.
So Stephen Moffat sitting on the fence there. Benjamin, this is just one person though, wasn't it, who gave away the plot?
One person is all it takes, sometimes, I think. I mean, I can understand Stephen's frustration, because he heads a team of people who, you know, work incredibly hard throughout the year to make the BBC's flagship show, and it should be their choice in how that story is digested by viewers. You know, the funny bits should make you laugh and the sad bits make you cry, and the twists and turns, of which there are many and many more coming up later in the series, you know, that they should be allowed to shock people. And if someone goes online and spoils it for other fans, but also then often, you know, journalists will trawl the Doctor Who forums to find stories to put in the newspapers so it can reach the national press and so on. It's a bit of a rubbish thing to do.
All right, so what are your general thoughts on what went down?
Well, I can understand where Mr. Moffat's coming from, but the guy released the stuff because he is a fan, so, I mean, he's not totally evil either. But, you know, come on, people. If I would have been invited to that thing, I would have kept it under wraps.
Now, was this person part of the press crew that leaked it, or did fans get invited to this as well?
I think fans got invited to it too, but I'm not 100% sure. That one guy's hair really threw me for a loop, so I couldn't focus anymore after he popped on the screen.
Heck yeah, that was
What was
way
that?
intense. That was nuts.
Oh.
I guess my thoughts are I think it's perfectly fine to invite the press, but even though if you're a fan, it would be totally great to be out there, but I don't think Stephen Moffat should risk that out there for fans to share.
No.
Unless they are, it's a lot easier to put the press under your thumb to say, don't release this, because they could lose their jobs.
But with fans, it's a little bit harder to do.
True. I guess there's really not a good answer, but it was funny to hear Stephen Moffat use the term twit.
It was also funny saying that if they're fans, he wants them to be fans of something else.
Yes, correct. So, Was he talking about you, Wendell?
No, because I was not there.
Okay, good. All right, well, that's kind of our news section here. Let's get to our spoiler-free favorite things on the latest episode, The Doctor's Wife. Great episode overall for me.
It was excellent.
Yep.
Excellent episode. And watching the Confidential afterwards just enhanced that. So if you have a chance, I suggest watching the Confidential too.
Yep, it definitely adds to... I mean, typically you learn a couple interesting things, but they did such a phenomenal job on the Confidential part of it. But
there was, just flashbacks so far, that it was a lot of memories where, I was reminded of watching that, and it was a lot of fun. And Neil Gaiman seemed like a really nice guy.
Well, let's hope if we talk about the main parts of the story that we liked or didn't like. What main parts did you like about it?
I think what I can say is I liked that TARDIS console that they had later on in the episode.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was from the Blue Peter competition. So, somebody designed that, and it was nice to see it in the episode. And it incorporated into the story excellently.
Yep. I thought Neil Gaiman wrote the script. It not only captivated me, but I thought it was paced extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. I think it was probably the better paced, even of Stephen Moffat's through this series so far.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to see Mr. Gaiman come back and write another episode.
Absolutely.
This was just, it was phenomenal what he did with this stuff.
I thought the effects for the episode and even the locations and studio shots were grand. They did a great job there. And
I was a little disappointed with the interior of the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
But what can you do? I mean, they don't have the budget and stuff. So I was expecting, or I shouldn't have was expecting. I was wanting more of the earlier episodes where they ran through the swimming pool or the hospital, the sick bay thing, and stuff like that. But you get to see that in the Confidential. So hey, there.
I thought one of my final likes, just to share with everyone, I thought Matt Smith really stepped up his level of acting on this one, especially at the end.
Like every time he can bring it, up a little bit higher. Just his fluctuation in the moods as things are happening, and incredible.
Yeah. Now, were there any things that you didn't like about this episode?
Oh, well, I guess it's probably just the TARDIS console, or not the TARDIS console, the corridors.
Okay, I think one of my bigger things was I wish there was more backstory information on the bad guy in this episode.
That would have been nice too, because he was creepy as heck.
Absolutely, and they do reference some age-wise in there in this episode, and I'd like to know, well, why? What's more going on there? And at the beginning of the episode, I thought there was going to be a Morbius connection, just in regards to some of the characters in there. So I wish there was some more put into that. And I had a hard time understanding the character, I think it was Idris, when she spoke. I had to go and rewind a couple times to catch some things that she was saying.
She was going pretty fast.
Yep, absolutely.
Did BBC America, did they have subtitles? Did you watch it with that or not?
Did not watch it with
subtitles. Have captioning on. So.
No, but
no, I didn't either.
They did have that, I'm going to use the term crappy opening with him.
I saw your post about that.
I don't like that. So, overall, though, I think this is the best Series 6 story so far.
I've seen a lot of people say that. I've seen some people say that they were expecting a little bit more from the hype and this and that. But overall, yeah, it's only the 4th episode given. But, yeah, it was great.
All right. And again, the Doctor Who Confidential is a not miss. If you get a chance, try to get to watch it if you haven't.
Definitely. I mean, I don't normally watch Confidentials, but yeah, this one, people were saying it was so good, and some people were saying it was better than the episode, so I thought, okay, I gotta check this out. And I am not disappointed.
We will be releasing a episode 48.5 audio podcast as well, with more of our spoiler ideas and thoughts. So look for that on iTunes and on the theomegapodcast.org website later tonight or tomorrow.
Yes, please.
All right, how about if we get to some feedback that we've gotten?
You betcha.
You want to take the first one?
Sure, I'll do that. This comes from John. Hey guys, you do an awesome job at the reviews. I'm from Australia, so we are gearing up for the Curse of the Black Spot. Can't wait. Although I'm on Facebook and some people just can't hold back spoilers. One of my friends, Jamie, has sent in feedback a few times to this podcast, and it was pretty cool tuning the last 2 times and hearing his feedback. Also, I was wondering, now most of the country's seen Day of the Moon. Could you share your thoughts on who the little girl at the end is? Don't give anything away. I would just like to hear other people's thoughts. I love listening to your podcast, John.
Very cool. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I think it's another Time Lord's daughter. It's not the Doctor's daughter.
No, I don't think it is either, and I don't think it's Amy's child either. I don't think she's carrying it. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
it's a Time Lord.
yeah. We also received a piece of feedback from our YouTube channel. Someone posted on our profile page, and that was Mr. Doctor of TARDIS. And his comment was, "Best podcast ever!" Exclamation point. So thank you very much for that, sir.
Is that the one where you put the marks on our faces and stuff?
Actually, this was to our profile page.
Oh, okay.
Not just to a comment about the episode, but just
in general.
Just in general.
Neato.
Wendell, do you know what time it is now?
It is 1:45 Sunday afternoon, May 15th, 2011.
Technically correct, but still absolutely wrong.
That means it must finally be time for 5 questions for you.
That is correct. It is time for 5 questions for who? Hi everyone, welcome to a very special episode of the Omega Podcast's 5 Questions for Who. This time we actually get to have a live video interview with Mr. Neil Gaiman. Welcome, Neil. My first question for you is, how do you think fans will react to your episode, The Doctor's Wife?
I think it will make fans say, "Great googly moogly," or maybe "Mecca lecca hi, Mecca honey ho," even possibly "Yippee-ki-yay, mother!"
Whoa, let me stop you there. Let's go to question number 2. The Ood are back in this particular episode with green eyes. Was it your idea to bring the Ood back to Doctor Who, or was it Stephen Moffat's?
I can't say, but I can say I like the ood, and I love saying ood. Ood, ood, ood. And words that rhyme with ood. Food, brood, mood. Hey, the ood who brood like to eat food to change their mood. Brilliant.
Yeah, sure. Let me go to question number 3. Did you base the Doctor's wife's hairstyle after your own?
Not funny.
I thought it was a little funny.
No, it makes me mad.
Let me ask you this then for question number 4. What was it like working with Stephen Moffat as executive producer?
Steve-O was brilliant. His attention to story flow and characters was great. I just hated it when he kept stealing jelly babies from my pocket when I was not looking. You heard it here first, folks. Our 5th and final question for you, Mr. Gaiman, is, if you ever write a future episode of Doctor Who, will you ever put a character in there named Wes? No, but I would put in a character named Wendell. Brilliant name.
Well, that wraps up our 5 questions for Who for this segment of the Omega Podcast. Thanks for watching, and thank you, Mr. Gaiman, for being part of it.
I hate you.
All right, that was our 5 questions for Who, first video one ever.
Just brilliant.
Yeah. Did you notice that Neil Gaiman's accent got thicker the longer the interview went on?
I suppose that's because you were feeding him alcohol throughout the interview.
Maybe that what it was. Special thanks to Jeremy for helping me with that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So, and I hope, Mr. Gaiman, if you ever do watch this, that you please forgive us. So only out of love. Only out of love we do that. So, all right, that kind of wraps up episode 48. We'll be back in 1 week for episode 49.
Audio review of The Rebel Flesh, which looked very good.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Make sure to hop over to our website. That's theomegapodcast.org.
Send us email at theomegapodcast@hotmail.com.
And swing by our Facebook page. Join up there. We're also on Twitter as Omega Podcast. And we're on YouTube, which you're probably watching right now. And we greatly appreciate it.
We certainly do. It's you guys that help keep us going. So,
all right.
appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
We're done here.